February the 2nd, 2025. Guys, you're looking at information that came out last night at 9 p.m. It says former Federal Reserve advisor arrested. Think of that. Federal Reserve advisor arrested for allegedly passing U.S. trade secrets to China. I guess him and Hunter had quite a network, it looks like. It says prosecutors on January the 31st arrested a former senior Federal Reserve advisor, accusing him of stealing trade secrets from the agency that could allow China to manipulate the U.S. market. He did it. He was paid very well. Yesterday, it was the Treasury Department they went after, remember? Now the Federal Reserve. And if this is happening with the Federal Reserve, this poison is running very deep and it needs to be cleaned, washed, bleached, like Hillary did her servers, right? It needs to be bleached, removed, let the new the ERS, External Revenue Service, take control. You've got to fire everybody in these buildings. There's nothing else you can do but that, because the poison has been, for 4 years, the last 4 years, the poison has been added to. But for dozens and dozens of years before that, the poison was there. It just came into full fruition and got exposed this year. John Harold Rogers, 63, worked for 11 years as a senior advisor for the International Finance Division of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, the main governing body for the U.S. Central Bank. There's a lot of people that need to go, a lot of organizations that need to be cleaned out and started over on a much smaller scale. There's way too much grift, way too much fat in the situation we have now. It says a federal indictment alleged that Rogers began working with Chinese conspirators since at least 2018. The Chinese handlers worked for the Chinese intelligence and security apparatus and posed as graduate students at a Chinese university, according to the filing. They had all of this, guys, before now. They just couldn't do anything with it with the current Department of Justice. Rogers, in the collaboration, allegedly solicited trade secret information that included proprietary economic data sets, China tariff deliberations, and briefing books for specific board governors. He also allegedly solicited internal discussions and forthcoming announcements for the Federal Open Market Committee, the FMOC. Now, what this is doing, guys, realize yesterday the Treasury, today the Federal Reserve. Where is Jerome Powell in all of this? Is China actually running our Federal Reserve? It looks like it. Now, Rogers also solicited internal discussions and forthcoming announcements from the Federal Open Market Committee, the FMOC, or the FOMC, 12-member body consisting of the 7 Federal Reserve Boards of Governors, the New York Federal Reserve Bank president, and 4 of the remaining 11 Reserve Bank presidents that rotate on an annual basis. Who was it said in history? Care not who becomes president, as long as I run the banks, as long as they have control of the money. And that's what was going on, except it turned against the U.S. Again, I think there's a lot more people than this guy involved, and I think his takedown is going to lead to a lot of snitching and a lot of other people falling, because they're going to hand him a deal that he can't refuse. Such confidential information is economically valuable, prosecutors noted. By knowing in advance U.S. economic policy, such as federal fund rate changes, China can gain an advantage in selling or buying U.S. bonds and securities in a manner not unlike insider trading, prosecutors said in a Department of Justice statement. The Federal Reserve's International Finance Division is in charge of basic research, policy analysis, and reporting of areas such as foreign economic activity, U.S. trade and capital outflow, and developments in international financial markets and institutions, the agency's website states. He sold out to China, and this whole group has done it, all the way down to the ex-president, or whatever you want to call that thing. Rogers is charged with conspiracy to commit economic espionage and with making false statements. Guys, this is what you call being a traitor to your country. How far down the road will this go as far as persecution, prosecution? I don't know. A judge ordered Rogers to be held until a detention hearing on February the 4th. So he's not out on bond. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington told the Epoch Times the charges carry a total of 20 years in prison on top of up to $5 million in fines. Guys, $5 million is nothing compared to probably what this guy made. They paid him $450,000, China did, to come over there, make a few speeches, and claim it was part of a university teaching arrangement, when all he was doing was meeting in expensive hotels and giving these secrets out. Let this indictment serve as a warning to all who seek to betray or exploit the United States. Law enforcement will find you and hold you accountable. This is Interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Edward Martin, who President Trump appointed minutes after taking office on January the 20th. He had the receipts. Unlike the stooges that we heard back in 2020, all we heard before J6 was, we have the receipts. The election was rigged. We had the receipts, and they all got laughed at, and half of them got put in jail because they did not have the Department of Justice on their side. I don't know if that was part of the grand illusion or not, but I'm glad we're not having to listen to that same group again. We got new people in here getting the job done and not just talking. He said FBI Assistant Directors in Charge, David Sundberg, said his agency aims to protect U.S. national security interests. Think about that. So we got Sundberg in there. You've got Hegseth in there. They bombed the crap out of the Taliban, I think it was, or part of ISIS. Yesterday, Trump put up the actual images of these caves being blown up with terrorists that were planning plots against other nations. They took them out. Hegseth is talking about putting in possibly the possible SEAL teams even in Mexico. One guy said on Joe Rogan, I saw that, he said they're going to bring to the cartels violence that's unimagined. They won't know what hit them. It will hit so hard and so deep. He said in a couple of years we can wipe every single one of them off the face of the earth. It needs to happen because they exploit women and children. They ship fentanyl. They do everything in the world you can think of to make money and on the backs of other human beings. It says the Chinese Communist Party, also known as the Biden Extension Party, has expanded its economic espionage campaign to target U.S. government financial policies and trade secrets in an effort to undermine the U.S. and become the sole superpower. And guys, think about that. That's always been their objective, the world's sole superpower. And we got people that we never trusted, that somebody trusted. I guess China trusted them to ship them information and as much money as they need and allow them to ship everything. Well, China got hit with an additional 10% surcharge on top of the tariffs. Mexico and Canada, as of midnight last night, I think, went under 25% tariffs on most of their goods. Now, I think the gas and oil trade with Canada is not quite that much. Trump doesn't want to cripple the U.S. right now until he gets his drill, baby drill efforts going on. You understand what I'm saying? But both Mexico is saying they're not going to cooperate. Canada's saying they're not. The next day, they're bowing and kissing the ring every time. Now, they're moving, guys, at lightning speed, taking down these crooks. 2 weeks in, and look at the changes already. It's hardly anybody coming across the border. Now, maybe 100 or 200 in 3 or 4 days compared to thousands and thousands. It's really being shut down again. You got the military is going to get involved because the cartels were shooting across the Rio Grande at some of our agents there. Those days are over. And to be honest with you, Trump said it a long time ago, we need to disband D.C. Drain the entire swamps. Too many snakes in one big snake pit there. It's hard to get through them all. Spread them out, take them down. But right now, they're taking them down so fast, guys, they don't have time to react. And that was the plan. Blitzkrieg again. Come in so fast from every direction. In other words, when it was slow, everything was being slow walked for the last several years as far as these criminals being prosecuted. They knew it would eventually just wind out. Right now, it's coming too quickly. And at that time, they would have time to get different lawsuits and different criminal attorneys involved to raid people's homes, put people in jail, everything. Now it's happening too quick. They can't do anything. They cannot even take the time to breathe or look up. It's happening that fast, and that's how you win a war. It says one of these Chinese handlers, identified in the indictment as co-conspirator number 1, presented himself as a graduate student at China's Shandong University of Finance and Economics, who was interested in learning about sensitive U.S. physical policy to benefit the Eastern Chinese province. He approached Rogers in May 2013 after creating an email that he used almost exclusively with just Rogers and a handful of his associates. Rogers shared that he was beginning a new project with a Chinese co-author on monetary policy. Why would he do that? The co-conspirator allegedly invited Rogers to visit his research institute, offering to cover his airfare and hotel on the trip. Rogers loved that hotel for some reason. I don't know what was going on there, but he always requested the same hotel, the same room. And this guy ended up giving him, we'll pull this down, $450,000 to come over there and pretend that there was a class going on. So he had that money. He was sending trade secrets. Imagine this. Chinese are sitting there laughing. You got Jerome Powell's information on whether or not he's going to raise or lower interest rates or some other type monetary policy. They know it ahead of time because of this guy. 20 years or 10 years is not enough, whatever they said. It needs to be lifetime or possibly be tried as a traitor. That would really send a message. But right now the Democrats are in super panic mode. I can tell by what they're saying and doing. And again, what they gave him the $450,000 was they declared him a part-time professor at a Chinese university, according to the Department of Justice, the new Department of Justice. Guys, there's so much going on right now, it's hard to keep up with, just like the mainstream media says. They say they don't have the energy to keep up with it. Well, I don't think anyone does. That's part of this lightning blitzkrieg upon the enemy of our nation and basically most of the humans on this planet. And guys, you're looking at our website, bpearthwatch.com, and over on the right's the Alexa Pure Water Filtration System. It says sale in soon, but today it's still on. You've got to 40% off, 5 payments of $35 is all you got to have. World's #1 water filtration system. Reduces 206 contaminants that are found in drinking water. You can bug out with it. I will never use any other type filter, and I'll never drink tap water as long as I have a way to filter it. This is the way to do it, guys. Anyway, I don't know how much longer that sale is going to be on, but it's normally $279. We got it $169, I think, now. And again, 5 payments of $35 a month. Do it. Forget about it, and you've got a very good resource for your family to stay alive. Basically, you got to have that water. Take advantage of it now, guys. Thanks for watching the videos. We don't do a lot of advertising here. Usually it's on this Alexa Pure or some product like that because they're all necessary items for your survival. It's a heads up, guys. Be safe.